And today, September 22, 2023, we'll be having private conference of four civil works project, particularly with contract ID numbers 23 BI 0114, 115, 116, 17, and 117. But before we start, let us all stand for to invoke the blessing of our great architect of the universe.
Shall we bow our heads and feel the presence of God? Let us pray. Our most gracious Lord and loving Heavenly Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we offer our thanksgiving and praise to you for the countless blessings of good health, providence, protection, and deliverance. Lord, we humbly come before your holy presence, asking forgiveness for all the shortcomings we committed against you. Please continue to guide us, that we may walk in accordance to your will. Dear Lord, we commit ourselves to you. May your Holy Spirit continue to inspire us amidst the challenges we are facing at these times. Keep our faith stronger and give us wisdom as we undertake the responsibilities upon our shoulders. May your unfailing love radiate in each heart, that we may take away all the negativities within. Please grant us, Lord, the success to all our endeavors. For to you we offer all the glory and honor. All of this we pray in the precious name of Jesus, our Savior. Amen.
Let us all be seated. To our viewers who are watching us via YouTube Live, prospective bidders, fellow back members of the Bids and Awards Committee, once again, good morning. Good morning. But before start, may I ask the Secretariat who are the selected observers for these procurement activities. Engineer Brian Nila Gusto, kindly play the selection selection of the observers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kindly take the selection of the observers, Madam Donna. Sir, our selected official observer is from the Philippine Green Building Council for the NGOs.
Thank you, Engineer Brian Augusto. So, again, may I request who are the other observers for today's procurement activities and when is the date of the letter to them.
Thank you, Mr. Bank Chair. Our letter for the observers dated September 15, 2023 for the first observer from the Resident Auditor, Commission on Audit, DPWH Nueva Vizcaya First District Engineering Office, Bayongbong, Nueva Vizcaya. Our second official is Miss Maria Ana Jitingol, Executive Director from the Philippine Green Building Council from BGC Taguig City. And our third official observer, sir, is Engineer Gladys Vito Porcio, alternate observer from the National Contractors Association of the Philippines Incorporated, Aritao, Nueva Vizcaya. Sir, these are the three official observers for today's private conference. Thank you. And it was duly sealed by the Commission on the Audit or COA on September 15, 2023. Din lang, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Brian Augusto, for reading the official observers of this today's private conference. So to continue, may I request that you read the attendance for today and also declare if we have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the roll call of the attendance for today's private conference. For the bids and our awards committee members, we have Engineer Valentino B. Sareno,
Present.
Bank Chairman, Chief Planning and Design Section, Engineer
Present.
Bank Vice Chairman, Chief Quality Assurance Section, Madam Veronica G. Lodovico,
Present.
Bank Regular Member, Chief Administrative Section, Engineer Bayani F. Molina,
Present.
Provisional Member and User from the Construction Section, and for the roll call, sir, of the Back Secretariat, yours truly, Brian Negi Augusto, Head. For the Back Secretariat Member, we have Mr. Remigio A. Santos, Member, Mr. Allen Edward G. Damaso, Member, Miss Ande Erica Fatima Picabang, Back Secretariat Member, Miss Simonette Lacorda, Back Secretariat Member, and Miss Lutgarda D. Reyes, Back Secretariat Member. And for the Back Technical Working Group, sir, who are present for today's private conference, we have Engineer Angie A. Reyes, TWG Member, Engineer Myrtle G. Degamo, TWG Member, Madam Diane Sheldon D. Balico, TWG Member, Engineer Reden A. Milyare, TWG Member, and Engineer Narcisa M. Santos, TWG Member. And for the observers, sir, we don't have any observers who are present here for today's private conference, and also prospective bidders. We don't have any prospective bidders who wish to attend for today's private conference. And for the technical personnel, sir, who prepared for the plans and programs of works, we have Engineer Jerry Tan II from the Planning and Design Section, and Engineer Maria Angelica F. De La Cruz from the Planning and Design Section, and we have Engineer Chini Nicole Rojas from PDS Section. Sir, majority of the total back composition is hereby present for today's activity. Therefore, there is a constitution of quorum. Thank you.
Since we have a quorum as back chair, I now declare that this private conference is officially open and in order. So, okay, to continue for this private conference, I will first read the section 22 regarding private conference. So, this is section 22 of the revised 2016 implementing rules and regulation for RA 9184. 22.3, the private conference shall discuss, clarify, and explain, among other things, the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial documents of the contract to be bid, including the questions and clarifications raised by the prospective bidders before and during the private conference. Private conference may be conducted in person or face-to-face through video conferencing, webcasting, or similar technology or a combination thereof. Procuring entities with video conferencing capabilities that have manufacturers, suppliers, distributors, contractors, and or consultants that also have video conferencing capabilities may conduct their pre-bidding conference electronically. The private conference is open to prospective bidders, and in case of procurement of consulting services, the shortlisted bidder, but attendance shall not be mandatory. 422.4, the minutes of the pre-bid conference shall be recorded and prepared not later than 5 calendar days upon the pre-bid conference and shall be made available to prospective bidders not later than 5 days upon written request. Decisions of the PAC amending any provisions of the bidding documents shall be issued in writing through a supplemental bid bulletin at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. That is Section 22 Private Conference of the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulation. So to continue, I will read the agenda for today's private conference. First agenda is basic contract data to be discussed to us by the preparers of the for civil works. For first project with contract ID 23BI0014 to be discussed to us by Engineer Angelica de la Cruz. Next project to with contract ID number 23BI0015, Engineer Angie Reyes. For the third project, 23BI0016, Engineer Chini Nicole Rojas. And the last project with contract ID number 23BI0017 by Engineer Jerry Tan. For the second agenda, requirements of bidding documents will be discussed to us by our Head Procurement Unit, Engineer Brian Neil Augusto. For the third agenda, documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals, again by our procurement head, Engineer Brian Neil Augusto. For the fourth agenda, criteria and procedure for the preliminary examination of the bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, again from the Secretariat, Engineer Brian Neil Augusto. For the fifth agenda, questions, comments, and from bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity is for the BAC members. Other matters for the number 6 agenda, and the last agenda, summary of proceedings including bid bulletins, addenda to be issued if any. So to go for the first agenda, the first agenda is a basic contract data. For contract ID number 23BI0014, the name of project, infrastructure program, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support social services, construction of multipurpose building, Balete, Diadi, Nueva Vizcaya. Location is in Diadi, Nueva Vizcaya. So I will give the floor to Engineer Angelica de la Cruz to explain in detail the scope of work and the plans prepared for this particular project. Engineer Angelica de la Cruz, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I am Maria Angelica de la Cruz from Planning and Design section. Allow me to present to you the contract ID 23BI0114. Next, please. The approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000. Source of fund, regular infra FY 2023. With the project description of construction of two-story multi-purpose building with the contract duration of 180 calendar days. And its PCAB license size range is small b. So here is the project location map where we can see on the screen the proposed project site. Next, please. And shown on the screen is the site development plan. Next, please. So the proposed 6 meters by 12-meter two-story multipurpose building project will involve all phases of construction, starting from laying the foundation works, construction of concrete columns and beams from ground floor to second floor, installation of roof framing works, as well as finishing works which comprises of painting works, tile works, and ceiling setups. Also, planning installations, and electrical works. The source of aggregate is at Balete Quarry, which is approximately 15.2 kilometers from the project site, while the source of materials from project site is approximately 5 kilometers. The intended project will have a contract duration of 180 calendar days, which includes 133 calendar days for project duration, 10 calendar days for predetermined and unworkable periods, and 37 calendar days for number of Sundays and holidays. Next, please. So here is the ground floor plan and the second floor plan of the proposed project. Next, please. Shown on the screen is the front elevation and right side elevation, the rear elevation, and the left side elevation. So that's all. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Back Vice Chair, you are recognized.
Meron ka pa bang ibang elevation? Kasi ang alam ko, requirement ang fire exit for a two-story building. Meron ba tayong fire exit yan? Saan doon? I am asking just for the information of our prospective bidders. Yan yung fire exit.
Yes, sir.
So, yung window dyan, what is the kind of window? Sliding?
Sliding.
So, meron silang daanan dyan pag nagpunta doon sa fire exit. Okay? That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Danilo Ibernete, for asking the questions to the preparer of the project. So I will ask the Secretariat, does anyone from our YouTube live viewers have questions or clarifications for this particular project? There are none. How about fellow back members? Let's start from Madam to Engineer Bayani Molina. Do you have any amendment for the basic contracted and the scope of work and details discussed by Maria Angelica de la Cruz?
No amendments, sir.
Okay, thank you. Noted, Engineer Molina. About Madam Veronica Leodopico, our back regular member.
I also have no amendment, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Madam. And our back chair, back vice chair, Engineer Danilo
No
Ibar.
amendments, Mr. Chair.
So noted. Anonymously, we have no amendment for this for the basic contract data and the scope of work and details of this particular project. So we'll proceed for the second project with contract ID number 23BI0015. The name of project, Infrastructure Program, Multipurpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, Construction of Multipurpose Building, Poblacion, Villaverde, Nueva Vizcaya. For this particular project, may I request our preparer to discuss to us the scope and details for this particular project, Engineer Angie A. Reyes. Engineer
Good
Angie
morning.
Reyes, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Angie Argel Reyes from Planning and Design Section, the preparer of this particular project. For this particular project, we had approved budget for the contract of 4,950,000 pesos. Project description, construction of two-story multipurpose building, duration 180 calendar days, cost of bid documents 5,000 pesos, source of fund regular infra FY 2023, pickup license size range small b. Next slide. So this is the location map of our proposed project. As you can see, the blue arrow points to Villaverde, and the red arrow is to Solano, Nueva Vizcaya. Next slide. This is the geotag description for the project. This plant box will be removed and um, to be included into the program. Next slide. This is the first floor plan. The proposed project is a 12-meter by 6-meter two-story multipurpose building. The design incorporated spaces including the office of the barangay captain, treasury office, open office, and 3 toilets, which will cater female, male, and PWDs. Next slide. For the second floor, we have the session hall. Next slide. This is the front elevation. Next slide po. Rear elevation. Next slide. Right side elevation. And the left side elevation. This project will be constructed completely from the foundations, columns, beams, roofing systems, and other finishing. Plumbing systems for water supply and drainage, including sanitary fixtures and pipelines, shall be provided and to be tapped with the barangay's existing water source. Electrical wirings, outlets, switches, lighting fixtures shall also be provided. The entire flooring will be installed with unglazed tiles. Ceiling for both exterior and interior shall be installed. Walls will be plastered and painted. This project will be completed within 180 calendar days, inclusive of predetermined Sundays and holidays. This is the front perspective view of the project. That would be all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Engineer Angie Reyes, for discussing to us the scope and details of this particular project with contract ID number 23 BI0115. So may I ask first from the Secretariat if we have any questions or clarification from our YouTube live viewers? None? So let's go with my Pelback members. Let's start with Engineer Bayani F. Molina, provisional member for construction projects.
No amendments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Molina. About Madam Veronica Ludovico, our back regular member.
No amendment, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Madam. About our back vice chair, Engineer Danilo A. Bernabe.
No amendment, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Noted. So anonymously, we have no amendment for this particular project with contract ID number 23BI0015. So let's proceed for the third civil works project with contract ID number 23BI0116 to be discussed to us by our preparer, Engineer Chini Nicole Rojas. Engineer Nicole Rojas, take it away.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Chini Nicole Rojas from Planning and Design section, and I am here to discuss the project located at Villaverde, Bintawan Norte, Villaverde, Nueva Vizcaya, with contract ID number of 23 BI0116 and indicative approved budget for the contract of 1,980,000. And our project description for the school building was completion of two-story multi-purpose building with a total calendar days of 85. Um,
Do you have other picture ba? Meron pang picture? Next time kung mag-present ka ng PowerPoint,
Next slide. As you can see on the screen, the encircled area shows the location of the project, whilst the arrow it leads to Solano, which also serve as the source of material. Next slide, please. And these are the geotag of the existing building. It is a completion, so next. The project will involve the completion of a 7.5 meter by 12 meter multi-purpose building located in Bintawan Norte, Villaverde, scheduled to be completed within a span of 85 calendar days, and the scope of work will encompass various tasks, including the removal and replacement of the ramp, the provision of a wall enclosure, and doors and windows at the lobby, as well as the installation of glass partition walls on the second floor. Additionally, tile works will also be executed, and all doors within the building's comfort rooms will be replaced, as well as the urinals and lavatories. A canopy will also be provided at the back of the building with the fire exit and removal and replacement of damaged lighting fixtures. Comprehensive painting works will also be undertaken both in the building's interior and exterior, and provision of the drywall enclosures at the stairs. Next, please. So these are the elevation, front and the rear elevation. Next slide, please. The right and left side elevation. Next po. The section through AA and B, longitudinal. And next slide. And also, the source of aggregates will be coming from Madjangat Quarry. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Chini Nicole Rojas, for the brief explanation of this particular project with contract ID 23BI0016, which is the completion of two-story multipurpose building. So from the Secretariat, may I ask if we have
Mr.
any...
Chair, before we go to the asking our viewers, pwedeng pakibalik mo doon sa elevation na mayroong hagdan.
Okay, Chini, kindly...
Meron bang naka-provide na column or beam dyan na para doon sa landing beam, doon from the original?
Meron po sir, vertical stiffener. Meron po vertical supports po doon.
May stiffener doon? Merong nakaabang na landing beam? Wala.
May existing po yan sir.
May existing stair na siya.
Opo.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Engineer Danilo Bernabe, or back Vice Chair, for the clarification for this particular project. So, that's from the Secretariat. Do we have any questions or clarification from our YouTube live viewers or prospective bidders, if any? None. So, let me ask our fellow back members from the construction section. So, Engineer Bayani F. Molina.
No amendment, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Engineer Molina. For Madam Veronica Ludovico, our back regular member.
I have no amendments, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Madam Veron. And for our back vice chair, Engineer Danilo A. Bernabe.
No amendments, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Sir Danny. So, since we have, anonymously, we have no amendment for this particular project, so we'll adopt the advertised basic contract data. So, we'll proceed for the last civil works, the port with contract ID number 23BI0017, the name of project, infrastructure program, multipurpose building facilities to support social services, completion of multipurpose building, Nalubbunan, Quezon, Nueva, Vizcaya. To be discussed to us by the preparer, Engineer Jerry E. Tan. So, Engineer Jerry Tan, take it away.
Good morning to everyone. I am Jeritan II from Planning and Design section, and I am here to discuss our project, completion of multipurpose building located at Nalubbunan, Quezon, Nueva Vizcaya, with a contract ID number of 23BI0117 and indicative approved budget for the contract of 1,980,000 pesos. Our project description for this building was completion of two-story multipurpose building with a total calendar days of 85. The cost of bid documents with an amount of 5,000 pesos, and our source of fund is regular infra for year 2023 with a pickup license size range of small b. Next slide, please. Next. As we can see on the screen is our project site location and the existing two-story multi-purpose building. Next. This is the existing corridor where we can see the finished floor level is in gravel and there are no paintings and ceiling. Next. This is the existing first floor interior with no tiles, paintings on wall and ceiling. Next. Next. This is the existing second floor interior with no tiles, paintings on wall and no ceiling. Next. The scope of work for this project includes the painting of column, walls and ceiling of the first and second floor, interior and exterior, tiles on the first floor and second floor including stairs, interior and exterior ceiling, slab and fill on the perimeter of the building, electrical works including wires, lighting fixtures, and air conditioning system. This this first floor plan, where the red line below of the screen is our proposed fence with gate. Next. This is our proposed CHB fence with plastering and painting. Next. This is the second floor plan. Okay, next. Next. This is the front elevation. This is the rear elevation. This is the right side and left side elevation of our existing building. For the exact location of the project, the lower right of the screen is the Solano Town proper. From the Solano Town proper along the Barangay Bagahabag, we have the Madjangat Bridge. Next lang. Okay. Along the Barangay Bagahabag, we have the Madjangat Bridge. From the Madjangat Bridge, we have to turn left after the Baresbes Bridge. And from the Baresbes Bridge, straight ahead going to Nalubbunan Bridge. And from Nalubbunan Bridge, we have a 1.5 kilometers going to our project location. And this is, next slide please, where we can see our project location, and we have the existing barangay hall and existing covered court. Our source of aggregate is from Jangat Quarry with a distance of 6.2 kilometer from the project site. And for our source of material is from Solano Town proper with a distance of 10 kilometer from the project site. That's all po. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Jerry Itan III, for the second, for the brief and the second for the brief explanation of the fourth project with contract ID number 23BI0017. So, from the Secretariat, does anyone from our YouTube live viewers or prospective bidders have questions or clarification regarding this particular project? None. So we'll go ahead to our fellow back members. We'll start with the provincial member from the construction section, Engineer Bayani F. Molina.
No amendment, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Engineer Molina. Our regular member, Madam Veronica Leodopico.
No amendment, Mr. Chair.
Noted, Madam. So our back vice chair, Engineer Danilo A. Bernabe.
No amendment, Mr. Chair.
Noted. Since anonymously we have no amendment for this last project, the fourth one for this today's private conference, so we'll adopt the basic contract data as advertised. Please take note, Secretariat. So, to continue, let's proceed for the second agenda. This is the requirements of bidding documents to be explained to us by our head procurement unit, Engineer Brian Neil Augusto. Engineer Brian Neil Augusto, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Back Chairman. For the second agenda, the requirements of the bidding documents. For the bid data sheet, this is applicable for the four civil works projects with contract ID number 23BI0114, 23BI0115, 23BI0116, and 23BI0117. For ITB Close 14.1, major work category BICWO PLC with building construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame 1 to 5 stories. For ITB Close 14.2 A for B, the minimum work experience requirements for the key personnel are the following. For the key personnel, we have project manager, project engineer, materials engineer, foreman, and safety officer. Minimum years of similar experience, same position, is 3 years. Minimum years of total work experience, same position, is 3 years. Accredited safety officer, required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to Department Order Number 98, Series of 2014, submission of construction of safety and health program approved by the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE. First aider with certificate of training issued by Red Cross in compliance to DOLE requirements for the approval of construction safety and health program required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to Department Order Number 98, Series of 2014, submission of construction safety and health program approved by the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE. For ITB Close 14.2 A4, the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For the description, we have the one bagger, required units is 1, bar cutter, required units is 1, bar bender, required units is 1, welding machine, diesel, gas driven, required units is 1, cutting outfit, required units is 1, power saw, cut off saw, 356 horsepower, required units is 1. For the minimum laboratory of equipment, please refer to DO number 11, series of 2017. For the minimum materials testing equipment and Department Order number 127, series of 2018, strict application of Republic Act 9184 to conduct of post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. Sir, that's all for the requirements of the bid data sheets for civil works projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Brian Eragusto, for that second agenda. So we'll proceed for the third agenda, which is the documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals. Again, may request our Head Secretariat, Engineer Brian Neil Augusto.
Thank you, Mr. Bakcher, for the documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals. Sir, may we play the pre-recorded audio? Thank you.
Okay, please play.
Technical and financial components. Number 1. Technical component envelope. Class A documents. For legal documents, letter A, valid Bldg's registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. Or letter B, registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, Department of Trade and Industry for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority for cooperatives or its equivalent document. And letter C, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. And letter D, tax clearance per EO number 398, series of 2005, as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, letter E, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. And letter F, a statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. And letter G, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board or PCAB license, or special PCAB license in case of joint ventures. And registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. And letter F, original copy of bid security in the form of surety bond. Submit also the certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. And letter I, project requirements, which shall include the following. First, organizational chart for the contract to be bid. Second, list of contractors' key personnel, for example, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, safety officer, and foreman, to be assigned to the contract to be bid, with their complete qualification and experience data. Third, list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and/or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor, vendor, or the duration of the project as the case may be. And last, list of contractors' minimum material testing equipment which are owned as per Department Order Number 11, Series of 2017. For letter J, original duly signed Omnibus Sworn Statement o OSS, and if applicable, original notarized secretary's certificate in case of corporation, partnership, or cooperatives, or original special power of attorney of all members of joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and to do acts to represent the bidder. For financial documents, letter K, the prospective bidder's audited financial statements showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities is stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And letter L, the prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC, Class B documents. Letter M, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement or JVA in accordance with the Republic Act number 4566 and its IRR in case the joint venture is already in existence. or duly notarized statement from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instance that the bid is successful. Number 2, financial component envelope. Letter N. Original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form and other documentary requirements under Republic Act Number 9184. Letter O. Original of duly signed bid prices in the Bill of Quantities. And letter P. Duly accomplished detailed estimate form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rental used in coming up with the bid. And letter Q. Cash flow by quarter.
Sir, that's all for the agenda number 3 for the audio presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Brian Augusto, for the pre-recorded audio presentation for agenda number 3. So let's proceed again for the fourth agenda, which is the criteria and procedure for the preliminary examination of the bid, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. Again, may I request our Head Procurement Unit, Engineer Brian Neil Augusto.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Chair, for the agenda number 4. It will be played through audio recording again, sir. Thank you.
Okay, please play.
Pre-bid conference. Detailed evaluation of bids. For the procurement of goods and infrastructure projects, the BAC shall evaluate the financial component of the bids to determine the lowest calculated bid using the following steps. The BAC shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the following. Completeness of the bid. Unless the instructions to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including, or applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive. But specifying a zero or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. Arithmetical corrections. Consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. The BAC shall evaluate all bids on an equal footing to ensure fair and competitive bid comparison. For this purpose, all bidders shall be required to include the cost of all taxes, such as, but not limited to, value-added tax, income tax, local taxes, and other fiscal levies and duties, which shall be itemized in the bid form and reflected in the detailed estimates. Such bids, including said taxes, shall be basis for bid evaluation and comparison. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Between total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. Between stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. Between unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. Post-qualification. Objective and process of post-qualification. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. Within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the BAC that the bidder has the lowest calculated bid,
The bidder shall submit to the BAC its latest income and business tax returns and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding documents. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award, provided that in the event that a finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of this IRR. The post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain all statements made and documents submitted by the bidder with the lowest calculated bid using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following. Legal requirements. To verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 25.3 of this IRR. For this purpose, the GPPB shall maintain a consolidated file of all blacklisted suppliers, contractors, and consultants. Technical requirements. To determine compliance of the infrastructure projects offered with the requirements specified in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project for the procurement of infrastructure projects. Verification of availability and commitment and/or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment unit to be owned, leased, under, purchased by the bidder for use in the contract. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project or a negative slippage of at least 10% in each of two or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 calendar days and to complete them within 30 calendar days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance within 30 calendar days and complete them within 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures, or substandard quality of work as per contract plans and specifications, or unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. If the BAC verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award for the procurement of infrastructure projects.
All for the audio presentation for agenda number 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Brian Helagusto, for the pre-recorded audio presentation for agenda number 4. So let's proceed for the next, the fifth agenda, which is questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representative of procuring entity. So does anyone from our YouTube live viewers or prospective bidders have questions or clarification for these procurement activities? None. So we since we have no amendment for or clarification for this private governance, then we will adopt the bidding documents as advertised. So let's proceed for the other matters. Secretariat, do you have any announcement to make?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, we have the announcement for the next procurement activity, sir, which is opening of bids.
Okay, Engineer Brian Elago, please read.
Announcement reminders for the next procurement activity, which is opening of bids, date and time, September 28, 2023 at 9:01 a.m. Venue, PRU Bidding Room, Main Building, DPWH, Nueva Vizcaya, First DEO, Bayambong, Nueva Vizcaya, for the three goods and services, sir.
Okay, please read the details of these three goods and services to
For the
be for opening of bids on September 28, 2023.
Thank you, sir, for the first project with contract ID number 23GBI58. Name of the project, procurement of a one-unit boom truck, 3 tons with basket, boom crane for use of the DPWH Nueva Vizcaya First District Engineering Office. Location of the project is DPWH Bayambong, Nueva Vizcaya, with an indicative approved budget for the contract or ABC of 5,200,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 30 calendar days upon issuance of NTP, with a cost of bidding documents of 10,000, with a source of fund of DPWH FY 2023 capital outlay or EAW. Our second project, sir, with contract ID number 23GBI59. Name of the project, procurement of one-unit loader for use of DPWH Vizcaya First District Engineering Office. Location of the project is DPWH Bayambong, Nueva Vizcaya, with an indicative approved budget for the contract or ABC of 3,250,000 pesos, with a duration of 30 calendar days upon issuance of NTP. Cost of bidding documents is 5,000, with a source of fund of DPWH FY 2023 capital outlay or EAW. And the third project, sir, with contract ID number 23GBI60. Name of the project, procurement of one-unit pickup manual transmission 4x4 for use of DPWH Nueva Vizcaya First District Engineering Office. Location of the project is Bayambong, Nueva Vizcaya, with an approved budget for the contract or ABC of 1,225,000 pesos. Duration, 30 calendar days upon issuance of NTP. Cost of bidding documents is 5,000, with a source of fund of DPWH FY 2023 capital outlay or EAW. Sir, that's all for the announcement and reminders. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Brian L. Augusto, for the announcement reminders of the three goods and services which will be done on September 28, 2023. So, to continue, may add, Secretariat, that you will issue letters to our observers for the next procurement activities, which is on September 28, 2023.
Noted, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go for the last agenda, which is summary of proceedings, including bid bulletins, addenda to be. But we have no bid bulletins or addenda to be issued for the four civil works project as presented and discussed. So we will can I hear any adjourned?
Mr. Chair, inasmuch as we are done with all the agendas for the pre-bid conference, particularly the four multipurpose building projects, I now move for the adjournment of today's pre-bid conference.
I second the motion.
Since it is moved and seconded that this pre-bid conference is adjourned, so as back chair, I now officially close this pre-bid conference. So mabuhay good morning sa ating lahat and mabuhay tayong lahat. Thank you.